Hello my friends and welcome. This is the latest update from Ukraine. Let's go to Robotyne and Verbovo, the south part of the front lines. Ukraine continued the movement, taking the ground. It was confirmed by the Institute of the War Researchers. Ukrainian army penetrated the main defense lines of the Russian Federation near to Verbovo and continued to move forward. So this is the gray area, as we call it. The fighting is already ongoing in Verbovo village. This small area was confirmed to be liberated from the Russian soldiers. It was the part of the Russian defense line. Ukraine went across it, so I expect the further movement will be more intense compared to the previous weeks. Russia was able to slow down the Ukrainian offensive by sending the paratroop divisions to Verbovo and Novoprokopivka. Those divisions are better equipped compared to the Russian mobilized soldiers or the soldiers of the Russian regular army. They also have the higher morale. That is why it's kind of hard for Ukrainian army to advance, but nevertheless Ukrainian army does it, so I'm quite optimistic about the south front lines. I do expect that Ukraine liberates Verbovo village and Novoprokopivka soon, in a matter of weeks. Plus, recently Ukraine started the advancement towards the Kapani village. It is very important to expand the bridgehead towards Kapani and also to the east direction. If we check out the deep state military map, we may see that Ukrainian army was successful in advancing towards Kapani. So it was yesterday and it is today. But from some of the resources, we may understand that Ukrainian army advanced even more. We just need to wait for the confirmation from the deep state military map. For the last couple of days, Ukraine was quite successful in Verbovo. We also have the confirmation from the drone videos. For example, this Russian BMP was captured by the Ukrainian FPV drone. The full videos like that are available on my Telegram channel. For the obvious reason, I'm unable to upload them on this platform. So please check out the video description and there you may find the link to my Telegram channel. Subscribe for my Telegram and you'll be constantly updated about what is happening around Ukraine. Okay, now let's go to the Russian advancement near to Makiivka. It was yesterday and it is today. They want to reach Makiivka and occupy this village. It is happening in Donetsk Oblast, so still they have some of the reinforcements that they continue to use to get more ground in this area. But I expect that this counterattack from the Russian side will not be successful. I expect it to be as in Luhansk Oblast. So what happened there today? I'll just show you. Alright, we may see the classical picture for the Russian tanks. Two of the turrets are lying somewhere near to the tank bases. Also, the legendary Russian T-90 Pro-Reef tank is standing nearby, unable to move anymore. So you may see the difference between T-90 and T-72. T-90 stays with the turret and T-72 is total kaput. But actually yes, T-90 is the deep modernization of the T-72, not really a big difference. Here are some other tanks. I don't know if you may see that behind my picture. So 1, 2, 3 of the tanks. Totally Russia lost 10 of the tanks for the 2 consecutive days in this specific point. Here we may see even more of the tanks. Again, 2 of the tanks lost the turrets, they're lying nearby. The Russian space program goes according to the plan. Again, we see the confirmation that the Russian army is not flexible. If they receive the order from the higher command, they will continue to execute it no matter what, and there is no feedback from the army to the highest Russian army command. They do not realize of what is actually happening on the front lines, and there is absolute disaster for the Russian army. Still wonder how they hold their defense. I read the Russian military bloggers constantly. Yes, it's full of propaganda, but sometimes they say the true stories about the state with the Russian supplies. Just recently they've told that one of the Russian brigades in Kherson Oblast refused to fight because they were captured mostly by the HIMARS missile. And this is what happened to the Russian group and the training base in Kherson. That's why Russia refused to fight HIMARS. But Russia found the way out from the problem. Because Russian soldiers sometimes refuse to fight, they start to put those dummies on the front lines instead. So here we have the artillery. It's looking very real. with those shells, with artillery system itself, and with a soldier. Also, one more soldier, that is how they defend the front lines. Well, actually, I'm not saying that it's bad for Russia, because we also use this kind of the stuff, dummies of vehicles, but dummies of soldiers. I think Ukraine hasn't used it so far. Oh my god, Russia has shut down one more Sukhoi Su-35, their best fighter jet, in Ukraine. A few days ago, they've shut down Sukhoi Su-35 near to Tokmak, but this happened not far away from Mariupol. This information was already confirmed by the Russian resources. Russian air defense, you work well. That is what they say. At this rate of work of our valiant air defense, we soon be left without aviation. Russia, unfortunately, finally made it. They start to receive the shells for their artillery systems from the North Korea. The shells that were transferred to the North Korea by Russia itself decades ago. So now Russia wants and will get those shells back. Yes, we are speaking about the Soviet-made weaponry, but what worries me here, that China might supply the weaponry to North Korea, and North Korea will supply the same weaponry to the Russian Federation. That is how China might support Russia, without the threat of being under the sanctions. China has the long border with the North Korea, so it's hard to control what is happening there, so they might transfer the goods. Not a good news for Ukraine. We hope that the United States and the Western world will continue to support Ukraine even more. The Washington Post says that there will be direct meeting between Biden and Xi Jinping the next months. For sure, they will also discuss the war in Ukraine, which is all about resources. If China decides to help Russia in this war, it would be very difficult for Ukraine to win. Russia has launched one more attack on civilian city of Ukraine, Kharkiv. This is the central part of the city, so only civilians live there. No military bases, no military units, but Russia still continue to target Ukrainian civilian infrastructure, saying openly that they do not do it. Those are just barbarian clowns, I may call them. Unfortunately, again, the casualties were reported, and it is terrible. Russia continued to use the Iskander ballistic missiles for those purposes. I believe that in this case, Ukraine should obtain ATACMS as soon as possible to compete with the Russian attacks. It seems like there is one more potential target for the Ukrainian cruise missiles in Sevastopol. The Russian Navy ship Sparta 4 went for the long-term repairs to the dry docks. Not those docks that were targeted before, but the mobile docks that Russia uses sometimes. So it could be loud again in Sevastopol very soon. By the way, it was loud today. We had numerous of the reports of kabooms in Sevastopol, but none of them showed the ground explosions. Russia finally restored the damaged road of the Kerch Bridge. So it was before, and this is today. We have the new photo with this fragment replaced. It took them several months to repair it. But for how long? It is the big question. Based on some of the information that we have, Ukraine is planning the assault and landing operation in Crimea. For its success, the Kerch Bridge should be cut. But as you see, it is quite a robust construction. There were already 2 of the kabooms, and the bridge still works. Turkey was quite upset that Americans shut down their drone yesterday, so this night they launched the massive attack on Kurds in Syria. They consider those not as opposition rebels or something, but the real enemy for the Turkey. However, Kurds are in some way allies of the United States of America in that region, and they receive the weaponry from the United States. Syria is the place where there are lots of the influences and lots of the powers involved. Iran, Russia, Turkey, United States, and many more. My friends, now don't forget to press the like to this video, and also if you want to support my channel, please check out the links in the video description just below. Special thanks for my Patreon supporters and also the sponsors of my YouTube channel. Guys, you're awesome. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.